2 weeks, 5 countries and over 2,000 kilometres in our VW T6 campervan, and after 4 videos of exploring Europe, it's time to answer the questions everyone keeps asking us. How much did this trip really cost? Which country really surprised us? Which campsites did we love, and would we do it all again?
This is the ultimate breakdown of our Europe campervan trip. Everything we learned, everything we loved, and everything we'd do differently next time.
So first of all, I guess the first question is, how much did it cost us to get to Europe? Now, we chose Le Shuttle. The reason why we chose Le Shuttle is because I'm a train geek, and But also, Debs and Mark, who we were going with, they'd already been on one ferry over from the Isle of Man, so we thought it might just be easier and smoother.
Quicker.
It does cost you a little bit more, but it is quicker. Claire, how much did we pay?
So, summary of our Europe costs. So, the Eurotunnel was £330. So, it's £170 going out and £160 coming back. So, yeah, £330 in total.
Okay, so question number 2, probably everyone wants to know how much we spent on campsites whilst we were in Europe. Now, Claire's got the absolute total. I'm going to go into a little bit of detail around that first, but how much was it overall?
£380.54 for all the campsites we stayed at.
So 380.54. Now, we did stay in Europe for a total of 14 nights. Mm-hmm. However, of those 14 nights, 2 of those nights were spent off-grid. One was in a car park and the other one was in a car park, actually. So a car park in Germany and a car park in France. We also stayed in a camping area as well. The camping area is included in that price. The car parks aren't. So the car parks, let's just take an average. I don't know if it cost us, I think it was about £10 for both of them. So we'll say £10 for that. That's probably the area where we could have saved a little bit of money, because when we look at some of the campsites, so Switzerland in particular, we paid £60 a night for that campsite in Switzerland.
It was worth it, but it was expensive.
Absolutely. Definitely worth it. But yeah, it did eat into the budget. Okay, so just want to have a little break from the questions now, and I want to introduce you to today's video sponsors. So today's video is sponsored by a company called eRaptor. Now, they contacted us and they said, would we like to work with them and would we like to review one of their reversing cameras? Now, if you've seen the channel for a while, you'll realise we've already got a reversing camera. But because this one is actually a screen with 2 cameras attached to it, because it's meant to be for RVs in the US, so you put one on your vehicle and then one on the RV. I had the idea of repurposing it. So if Claire pans up, you'll be able to see, I can see some kids hanging around on the outside the van.
Yeah, I think they were taking a picture of the QR.
That's quite handy. So this is the screen. I've set it up on top of the wardrobe because it sticks there quite nicely. But then we've got a camera on either side of the van. So what that does is that means that when we go away and when we're staying in a car park, when we're in bed, Claire's literally filming from the position that we would be in bed. We can see that screen and we can see if there's like some hoodlums outside waiting to attack us in our sleep. So that's amazing. That was amazing timing. Just in terms of the actual camera itself, so there's 2 cameras. Both of them have got infrared, so both of them do film at night. They've got on top, they have got solar panels, so we didn't have to worry about wiring them in, electrics, anything like that. Now, they do claim that they work for up to 24 hours. Now, I don't know, because we've not had it running 24 hours continuously, but one thing I will say is I was in the van working the other day for roughly 8 hours and it ran that whole time and it was still 3/4 full. But it will obviously charge as it goes as well. So yeah, I think it's really good. I think it's a really good option. Now, the cameras themselves, they are magnetic, so you can take them off. You don't have to drill and put them on. People have said to us before about magnetic cameras, aren't you worried someone's going to nick it? Well, no, because first of all, that thing records and it keeps it onto an SD card, so you'd see someone nicking it. Secondly, you've got to know that they're magnetic in order to pull them off. You might think that they're screwed on, so you wouldn't try in the first place. So yeah, I think it's a great product, and I wish that we'd have had this in Europe. It would have helped us to do more wild park-ups. Okay, so next up is fuel. So we had to fill up, obviously, before we left, and I think we filled up 3 times whilst we were in Europe. Claire has got the running total of that.
So the fuel was £510.20.
Okay, so fuel was a massive part of our spend. So obviously bear that in mind. We actually drove just over 1,800 miles, so nearly 2,000 miles. So it's quite a lot.
Yeah,
so
we
obviously
spend that on fuel.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing I did find, which was interesting, is in a lot of the countries that we filled up in Europe, I think Germany and Switzerland spring to mind. This is a petrol van, and petrol is actually more expensive than diesel, which is really unusual because over in the UK, we know that diesel is more expensive per litre. So next question is favourite country. And I'm almost certain we're both going to agree on this, but just wanted to do it for your purpose and for the camera and to see if we agree. Switzerland.
Switzerland.
Absolutely.
Oh my God,
it's stunning. It's exciting.
Yeah.
It's clean.
So beautiful.
I don't think I saw one piece of litter.
No, it's very clean. Yeah.
And you had a good run there, didn't you?
Yeah,
Down by the lake.
run. And the scenic run I had was just blew me away. It was so nice. And the air is just so fresh. I don't know if it was in my head, but that run I had, I was barely out of puff. I was eating and drinking lots, but that run, I was barely out of puff because the air was just so fresh because it was right next to the lake.
Can I just say, I went on that run with Claire and I didn't get out of puff either, did I?
Well, no, because you was on an electric scooter.
Yeah, it was good fun, that was.
But yeah, no, Switzerland was out of this world. And it was everything we expected and more.
Okay.
Lovely.
So that's a bit of a segue into the next question. So the next question is, which was your favourite campsite? Now, I know naturally, based upon the fact that we were happy to pay £60 per night, we actually booked a third night after staying there for the first two. We'll probably say Switzerland, but excluding Switzerland, what was your favourite campsite?
So for me, it was, I don't even know if I'm going to say this right, Requier.
So in France, yeah. So Requier is a really nice place. So yeah, it was lovely walking into the town. It might be a town village. Yeah, I think it's town because there's a town hall. My favourite's not there. My favourite's actually the one that you chose near Cologne.
Yeah.
So I think in terms of proximity for Cologne city, it was amazing because it was just outside. You could get the tram into Cologne quite easily. But also, we didn't really get much German culture while we were there. However, whilst we were staying in that campsite, just outside the campsite grounds across the way, there was a pub. And it was what I would expect a German pub to be. Big tankards. I think there was a nice roaring fire. There was a lady with big boobs. I'm not sure why she was there. It wasn't a real lady with big boobs. It was a statue, just before I say big boob ladies aren't allowed in pubs in Germany. They are. But yeah, I don't know why this statue was there anyway. For me, it was probably the one that we stayed at near Cologne.
We did have a really good time in that pub.
Yeah, we had a cracking night as well. So yeah.
It was just a few steps from the campsite.
So next question is, what was our biggest surprise throughout the whole of the trip?
So I'm going to say France in general, because I think I've only ever been to France once when I was younger, and I think I literally just saw Calais, so I didn't really see much of France at all. It's so pretty, and we only saw a small part of it as well, but it was just stunning. All the buildings, beautiful flowers everywhere. It was just so nice, really, really nice.
So I'm going to agree with you in terms of unexpected beauty. Absolutely France. However, something specific that stands out to me in France is me eating snails. So first of all, I shocked myself. So I decided that morning, because we'd already been into the town, we'd seen the types of restaurants that were there. So when we went back with our friends, I decided I'm going to have snails. And I did. And
he's the fussiest one out of both of us, if anyone doesn't know.
But since then, I think that's actually started my diet off, or kick-started my diet a little bit, because I'm willing to try and eat new things at the minute, and I'm doing vegetables all the time. So I think that's kick-started something in my mind. Also, the thing that surprised me about snails is that I did actually enjoy them, and I would have them again. So yeah, for me, it's snails.
Well done.
So we picked up a few tips throughout the whole of the holiday, but I really want to hone down and I want to pick one each. So I'm going to go for what is our top 2 tips, one from Claire, one for me, for the whole of the holiday. So Claire, what is your top tip for everyone?
Top tip was having the scooters. A bike or scooter, if you've got room for a bike, then perfect. But the scooters were just so good, adaptable to get around quickly. You can go into town quite easily. We explored a lot more. You can cover a lot more ground with little time. We could lock them easily with our app, so we use them to go to the supermarket quick if we needed to get a few bits. So for us, that was really, really ideal having those. I'm so glad we had them. And I was quite dubious at first because I thought I'd probably fall off because I'm not good at stuff like that. But no, they got used to it really quickly.
So just a couple of things on that. I would actually prefer the scooters to bikes now, irrespective of the size of our vehicle, because I thought they were just so easy to use. Whereas sometimes with the bikes, you have to unfold them, a bit complicated to unfold. Whereas with the scooters, we actually left them fully built in the galley of our van. Now, the other thing I say about the scooters as well is Claire said about we locked them with the app. Now, absolutely we did. And that's a really good feature of the scooters. However, we also took a bike lock as well. Now, in truth, I don't think we needed that bike lock. I think that's just for me personally. So one thing I will say is it is a normal process for people to take their scooters and leave them outside shops. So yeah,
we did see an awful lot, didn't we?
Yeah, no one seemed to nick them.
Yeah.
So yeah, and also they were allowed to ride them legally. So yeah, UK government, take note.
And your top tip, David?
And my top tip. So what is my top tip? My top tip would be when we did the whole trip and when we were planning on coming back, we wanted somewhere to stay so that we would wake up the morning of the train, of the tunnel, that wouldn't be too far a journey. And we stayed at Ypres. So my top tip is when you're coming back, stay the night before you travel in Ypres, because it was about 50 minutes away from the tunnel, which was ideal because you didn't have sort of migrants trying to cling on to the underside of your car or stuff like that, because we didn't park locally.
You didn't have that worry of that because it was far enough away.
Yeah, and it was really nice and it was a real experience.
Close to the town, and the town itself gorgeous. And if you are there, you need to visit Menine Gate, as you've probably seen in our previous video. It's amazing structure and such a beautiful tribute to all those people that were lost. So do Ypres the night before. Okay, so the last question is, before we went to Europe, I was a bit dubious about doing it, driving on the wrong side of the road, all the different... Took us a while to convince him. Everything that we would need. I was concerned about the red tape, the fact that you need a high-vis jacket, and the fact you need two pairs of glasses, all the other stuff that you don't need in this country. Ironically, Europe's a lot more straightforward once you got past that. So the question is, would we do it again? Yes. Yeah, we would. We are actually going to do it next year. Claire's already planning it. So we're thinking more of doing a higher up loop of Europe. So we're thinking of going across to the Hook of Holland, then doing across the top of Germany. My mum used to live in Germany, so we're going to see where she used to live. Then we're probably going to drop down. We will still do Switzerland because we cannot miss Switzerland. Yeah, and we're going to do the same campsite because we really loved it there. Yeah, so can absolutely recommend it. I'll put names of campsites throughout this video as we're talking about them, so you'll know where to look at. So yeah, absolutely, we would do it again. So hopefully that gives you a bit of insight into Europe, what we did, how we enjoyed it. Just before we sign off, I've got one thing to say to you guys. I've got into TikTok. Right. Now, I said I was never going to do it. I said that I feel robbed with TikTok because it's short form. You don't get to know people. I'm really enjoying it. So really be great if we can see some of you guys over there. So we're using our other brand name for that, which is Here and There with David and Claire. Now, the actual title of the TikTok account, because it wouldn't take a title that was that long, is Here, There, David, Claire. So yeah, if you search, there's an underscore. There's an underscore between each word. I don't know if that really matters because I'm still learning about TikTok. I have no idea about TikTok, so this is all David. So show him some love, please. He's putting a lot of work into it. Thank you. So yeah, on that bombshell, Doolittle's done.